just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to Arsenal News. I don't know what episode I'm on now. I've been doing quite a while. But hope everyone's well. We do actually have, for the first time, a poll going. So if you are in the chat, feel free to have a go at the poll. The question is, if I can actually bring it up, how many more signings do you expect Arsenal to make this summer? There is the option of none, 1, 2, or 3 and more. So yeah, feel free to enter the poll and I'll let you know at the end of the show what the result is. I have my opinion. We'll get into it later. Also, there is a Twitter poll that was going out on Twitter today. The result of that will be later as well in the show. So big up to Tony, already in the house. Evening to you. Hope you are doing well, Tony. Raya has agreed. Yes, he has agreed personal terms. Personal terms is one thing. Agreeing with the actual club is another matter, but we'll get into David Raya very shortly. But yes, we'll get into him. Mbappe and Kane. No, sadly not. Wishful thinking for Mbappe. Maybe some people want Kane as well. Be a good combination, to be fair, Mbappe and Kane. But yeah, not for us, not for this summer. Lower expectations a little bit. So yeah, not happening. But let's get on with the news. The first story we are going to talk about is David Raya coming in to provide competition for Ramsdale. Look, this deal could quite easily be done by the weekend. I'll be honest. Arsenal are bidding and talking with Brentford. Brentford wants to sell. They want to sell for money because he's not going to agree a new deal. He's out of contract next summer. The more money they can get, the better for them. Arsenal are low bidding them right now, and rightly so. I think the fee will be around the £25 million mark, which I think is a reasonable price, if I'm honest, for David Raya. I think his market value is about 29 million. So if you're just making a little bit of savings on his market value, then big up to Arsenal for doing that. David Raya himself, 27-year-old, good goalkeeper, very good with his feet. I don't know if anyone remembers, but when I did a show at the beginning of the window, it was my fantasy transfer window, and I sold Turner. And this is the thing, Tony. I feel that we needed a goalkeeper. I feel that drop from Ramsdale to Turner is too big. It's too big. You have to play slightly different with Turner in goal than you do with Ramsdale, and it affects a lot. So yeah, for me, I felt we needed to get a goalkeeper. Do I feel we could have got a cheaper version? Yes, I do. I feel we could have gone out there and got a cheaper version. I think there's a guy called Livakovic. I think his fee's around 10 to 15 million pounds. He would be perfect. He's young as well. I think he's Croatian. He plays in Italy. He would have been perfect. I think he's close to signing for Celtic, I think. So, yeah, I just think the money's a little bit crazy. But, you have to trust what Arteta's doing. It is very good competition for Ramsdale, to be honest. It will keep him on his toes, which you do need. You do need your goalkeepers not to be too comfortable in their position because their form can drop off. I think with Raya coming in, Ramsdale will know that he has the number one shirt straight away. However, Raya is very good. So, it is going to be tough for him. Big up to my pod brother. Hope you're doing well, Brenny. Big up to Tony. Raya, excited to be much needed competition. 100% Tony. Evening to Chris. Hope you're doing well in Carlisle. I agreed on that show too. Turnout. Yeah. It's just one of those weird ones, isn't it? But I think I think it's going to be an interesting one because I feel that Turner needs to go. I don't feel Turner's good enough for a number 2. You need so much better. So yeah, it is what it is, and I feel the deal could be done by the weekend. It wouldn't surprise me. Personal agreement has been made on personal terms, so that's good. It's fairly simple as very quickly as well. But now it's dealing with Brentford. Brentford aren't the worst to negotiate with, but they aren't going to just go, oh yeah, you can just have him for 16 million. It's going to be a bit of a haggle. I think it's going to be quite quick for Arsenal. Arsenal will want it quite quick. You want your number 2 in for the pre-season, for the season. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm the second main man behind Paul Simpson in Carlisle. You should want competition in every place in your squad. That's exactly what Arteta has wanted. That's what I tried to do in my fantasy window, but a lot of people shut me down for selling Turner. But for me, I just don't feel Turner's big enough. I'm shocked Raya will settle for backup and not play straight away. I think he knows that he's coming in to challenge Ramsdale, and I think if Ramsdale makes one mistake, Raya then comes in. And then Ramsdale needs to find a way of getting Raya's shirt back. So it's going to be really good competition. I haven't seen this at Arsenal for a very long time in goalkeeping competition. So yeah, I think it's absolutely great for the Arsenal, and I definitely support it. Now, if this doesn't happen, which for me, I'd say it's 95% going to happen, there is a backup, but this backup is heading to Chelsea at the moment. He is £20 million. Robert Sanchez could be an alternative. Could be. However, I think this one has pretty much gone now. He is on his way to Chelsea. So this is why I think David Raya will happen. But at least we're looking at another option. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if there was a third option, a fourth option, because there are many goalkeepers in Europe and in the world that can play this style of football. I mentioned it on my fantasy window. Zach Steffen can do it as well. He's good enough with his feet. So yeah, I'd have no issues with Zach Steffen either. But there are others like Livakovic as well. There are many goalkeepers in Europe and in the world that can play the way that we want at Arsenal. So I'm not too worried, and I do feel that Turner will be leaving, which takes me on very nicely to talking about Matt Turner. Turner is one of 3 options to become Sasquatch. Now I say Sasquatch because he's going to Forest. Stupid pun, I know. However, he is one of 3. So it is Turner, Dean Henderson, and a goalkeeper called Petkovic. So yeah, it's. I feel that Turner is probably the most valuable, and I don't want to say the cheapest option, but he's going to be less than Henderson, I would have assumed. So yeah, I expect the new goalkeeper and the goalkeeper going out stories to kind of interlink very quickly. I feel that once we move for someone and it's getting close, I think we'll hear that Turner's leaving, or vice versa. When Turner's leaving, the goalkeeper will be coming in very quickly after. It will be a very quick domino effect. There's a massive domino effect in goalkeepers all over Europe right now. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Brighton dealing with Chelsea, as they know, they can pull Chelsea pants down. Yeah, exactly. Won't Turner want first team time? He will, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people forgot. When he did an interview early in the summer, he was saying that he wasn't happy with the amount of time he was getting. So I knew that this was going to happen as soon as those words come out, because he's never going to push Ramsdale out of number 1 at all. So yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. It's a surprise to some people, but not for me. Arteta is showing ruthlessness. It's wonderful, 100%. Big up to Beats Gunner. If we land rare, that's a statement going into all comps. Exactly. You imagine the competition. You know, Ramsdale could play like a 5 games. Raya could play 5 games. It's brilliant to have 2 fantastic goalkeepers, and they are absolutely brilliant goalkeepers. We will definitely talk about Balogun. I did notice your comment, Tony. I will talk about Balogun. Something's come out today, which I want to talk about, so I will get into him. I promise. It's actually now. I can't actually remember like the order of my slides, so maybe Tony does. But like, the story came out last night that Inter have stopped negotiations with Balogun. They feel he's too expensive, but that doesn't mean he's staying. It doesn't. Trust me. Now, what's come out today is Balogun has once again asked Arsenal to lower the asking price. Now, for people that feel that Balogun will not leave Arsenal, I think that is the final nail in the coffin, that he's going, he's off, he's going somewhere. Now, I think what Arsenal will do is they will sell him and they will have a very good buyback clause or a very hefty sell-on clause in the deal, because we all know he's talented. Arsenal know he's talented. Arsenal are not silly on this. They know he's talented. They just don't have a place for him right now. They can't offer him what he wants right now. So I would suggest that Arsenal will make some money now, either have a buyback clause or he will have a very large sell-on clause for, obviously, if he gets sold on. So, yeah, it's going to happen. It's just a case of when, not a case of if anymore. So, yeah, big ups to BX saying afternoon, evening, everyone. So polite, everybody here. When he outed Alba, that was insight into Arteta. 100% Tony. Balogun seems to be stirring the pot. He's an absolute nightmare at the moment. Balogun, absolute nightmare. Bobby, we just can't keep this troublemaker. Exactly, we can't keep him. Look, there's having an attitude and then there's having a bad attitude. Now this guy is just an absolute nightmare. The kid doesn't appreciate the privilege it is to play for the Arsenal. No, he doesn't. It ain't happening. Balogun, no party. Now, is that because you don't think he's leaving, Bargav, or? But he's definitely leaving. He's causing too many issues now. He wants the price tag lowered, unless he wants to stay here. But Arsenal just won't want to lose market value on him. They'll find a way where they're happy to sell him for a lower price, but then put in a bigger sell-on clause or a cheaper buyback clause or something. Arsenal will find some way of doing this. He will be going no matter what. I just don't know where and I don't know when. Balogun's bad attitude is ridiculous. Arteta's love affair for Nketiah, ridiculous. Right. There is a story about Eddie, so just hold on that one. Eddie has not impressed Arsenal enough. Just hold on to that one. But yeah, I do get what you're saying about the love affair for Eddie. However, I think the last season has proved to Arteta that he might have got it wrong. So we'll move on to him very, very soon, I promise. Imagine if we had been around with Orba and Ozil. Jeez. Yeah, there'd be a big, massive, bad click in the dressing room, to be honest. Best off getting rid of Balogun. I'm with that one. When is the new Arsenal third kit out? Asked Jez. Right. Now, it was meant to come out today. I do know that. But there has been some kind of issue. So they have held it back. Now, Arsenal like to release it either on Tuesday or a Thursday. So it could happen this Thursday. It could happen tomorrow just as a one-off because it was meant to be ready for the Monaco game. So it wouldn't shock me if it come out tomorrow, but it wouldn't shock me if it come out Thursday. If not, wait next Tuesday. But yeah, there's been a problem, which is why it hasn't been released today. So big up to Jez. Hope you're doing well. All the, I'm guessing this is US top players have moves this off-season. Could be agents and football associations pushing for moves. That is quite a good point, really, because obviously our other American player is Austin Trusty, and he's off as well. So yeah, you might have a very good point there, BX. Do apologise. I'm not managed to have a break, so I'm going to have a drink. I still think Arsenal need a goal scorer. Chris, I'm always going to be with you on this one. I will say this continuously until we get one. But I do also see the point that a lot of players score goals. But yes, for me, I want someone that can score 20 plus goals a season, guaranteed. That's what I want. But a lot of people see it differently. It's just I would want a goal scorer, but that's what it is. Right, Lokonga finally leaving to Burnley. Now, Vincent Kompany is doing everything possible to get Albert Sambi Lokonga to Burnley. I think the fee is around £15 million, so we're making a zero profit, which is fantastic. But it's what it is. I'll just be happy to get rid of him, if I'm honest. Absolutely. See you later. Ta-ra. Enjoy Burnley. I'm sure he'll do very well at Burnley. It just hasn't worked out at Arsenal. He's not shown me any signs of talent whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm going to very happily move on from him. Oh, okay, got you. I am after retro tops. If I get that away shirt, Spider-Man is coming for me. Yeah, I love that new shirt. The green shirt is amazing. But sorry, Arsenal forever. Do apologise. It's not Jez, but I've changed it. No worries, mate. Sorry, I thought it was Jez. Sorry, my bad. No, not the Conga. Good move for Sambi, Belgian connection. Yeah, and he is Burnley level, to be fair. Yeah. Let's move on to the next story. Edu plans on selling Patino in Arsenal's best interests. So with Charlie Patino, there is going to be a buyback clause. There is going to be a sell-on clause as well, because we all know that there is talent in Charlie Patino. Not every single Arsenal fan believe this, but for me, he is very talented. Now, the likelihood at the moment, it is going to be a loan with an obligation to buy for Charlie, but there are so many clubs trying to get him at the moment. So this one might take a little while because there's a lot of clubs interested. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks to see where Charlie goes. Big up to Cole. Hope you're doing well. Lokonga has been very underwhelming, but we need more quality. He's rubbish. I'll put it simply, he's rubbish. But yeah, we do need more quality, which we'll get onto shortly, about a midfielder that we've been linked with. It was a Venom joke. I haven't watched it, mate. I've not watched the movie, so I have no idea. Patino reminds me of Jack Wilshere. That's what a lot of people say, to be honest, about Charlie. Reminds me of Wilshere. Championship clubs surely after Patino, or are they? There are some, but there is also clubs like Luton. There's some clubs in Europe. I think it's Leipzig was one of them. RB Leipzig were one of the clubs looking at Charlie. So it could be interesting. I have to admit, Patino loan, I don't think he will be in the squad when he finishes his loan. No, I honestly don't think we'll see him again, if I'm honest. But I do wish him all the best because I think he's very talented. But I just don't see us ever, unless he has an amazing few years away, and then the buyback clause we can then trigger. Maybe, who knows? No, I've watched Spider-Man. I've not watched Venom, the movie, the Venom bit. I know of Venom, but that's about it. Sorry. Let's move on. Austin Trusty is close to signing to Sheffield United for £5 million. Just the 5. He's worth nearly 10 million. We're selling him for 5 million. As I said, I would be absolutely. I hate this. Honestly, I hate it because I think he's a very good defender, and all we're getting is £5 million for him. I hope there's a sell-on clause because I think he's a very good defender. So yeah, it is what it is. The rumours are he doesn't want a loan. Patino, yeah, there's been a few rumours that Charlie doesn't want a loan, and I do get it. I think Luton's is a loan offer. I think Leipzig's is they're considering an offer of buying him. There's so many. I think it's about 3 loan offers, 10 plus of teams actually willing to make an actual money bid for him. So let's see. Oh, I was going to say I would question if you didn't watch Spider-Man. I've watched Spider. I just haven't watched the Venom bits. That's all. We're still making a profit, Bobby. It's not much of one. I would want way more than this. He's worth more. The thing is with Trusty, and a lot of people say it, he was only at championship level. But if you're a good defender in the championship, trust me, you're a good defender, because it is very much defensive duties in the championship. You have to be tough as well, and he is very tough. So I wish him all the good best when he goes to Sheffield United. I just would want more. Let's move on to another hot property. Nathan Butler Uedeji is wanted by about 3 different clubs. He was on loan last season, did very well last season out on loan. Currently, the same club wants him. I think it's Accrington Stanley. Ross County want him. But yeah, he's hot property. He will be joining on loan to someone for the season. He is 20 years old. He did play in a friendly that we've just had, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, he is also hot property. So we've got a lot of good players at the moment that are very much wanted, which is always nice to see. Let's move on to Bargav's little gripe, shall we call it. Palace need to sell before moving for their priority. Now, Eddie is their priority. They need to sell, I think it's Mateta. They need to offload him before they consider how much they can spend on Eddie. This is one to look out for. Will it happen? Possible. I think if it does happen and Balogun goes as well, that's where we dip into the market and try and find a striker of some sort, someone that may play on the wing as well. I don't know, but that's where I think we'll dip into the forward market if we sell both Balogun and Eddie in the same window. I think it's possible. I think we should do it because I don't think Eddie's good enough and Balogun is a nightmare. So yeah, for me, I'd get rid of both. But Palace need to sell before they can buy. So Eddie will stay as who's going to buy it? Mateta. Yeah, well, yeah, true. But to be fair, Mateta was very good. I think he was in France. But yeah, not so good at Crystal Palace. Let's move on to another possible incoming. This is, what's his name? Jesper Lindstrom. Liverpool are moving slightly ahead of Arsenal for this young lad from Eintracht Frankfurt. He doesn't excite me, if I'm honest. This guy doesn't excite me. But if Arteta thinks he's the man to challenge Saka, then fair dues. But I've seen him enough, and I'm like, I don't really get it. But currently, Liverpool have moved into pole position. I think the fee is around 35 to 40 million. So it's not a big outlay, really, for a winger. It's one of those summer windows where you could have gone, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But it is what it is. Cole's saying here the deal for Trusty has been agreed. Sheffield United have their defender as reported literally a minute ago by Romano. Well, there you go. So Trusty has gone. Brilliant. It is what it is. 3 million quid. Oh, geez. Right. If you're good at championship level, then you are good enough for Premier League, in my opinion. Chris, I'm with you. You know I am. I feel that there is not much of a gap between the two leagues with like a specific player quality. Team quality, yes, there's a big gap. But for me, if you're a good player in the championship level, you could make it in the Premier League, in my opinion. Chris saying here, sell Balogun and Nketiah, get the funds and get Kane and Osimhen. Chris, what have you been drinking? We all want some of that. Kudos, Edu, kudos. Yeah, unfortunately, there is no kudu talk today, but Edu, yeah. Liverpool get a DM, no more attackers. I know it's crazy, and every time you're linked with an attacker, I cry. Why? Why are you signing attackers? Premier League and Championship, most competitive leagues. 100%. 100%. Do apologise about keep coughing. I do apologise. Let's move on to the next story. So Arsenal tried to hijack Lazio deal to sign 26-year-old So from Eintracht Frankfurt once again. So Lazio were very close to signing him. He is a defensive midfielder. He doesn't excite me. However, he's someone that I feel would be a good squad player. I don't expect him to start a lot. I think it'd be very good to have in there as a squad player. But that's it for me. There is nothing more exciting about him. I think the fee will be around 20 to 25 million pounds. It's not much of a fee, which would be a great bit of business. So yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, we've been accused of being aggressive with trying to sign him, so that's interesting. David Nugent, rubbish in Premier League, beast in the Championship is a prime example. I think strikers is a slightly different one, and David Nugent at that time, the difference between the Championship and the Premier League at that time was very different. It has closed up a heck of a lot since then. Arsenal since 1987. I'm trying to remember your name now. David Raya has reached an agreement in principle with Arsenal on personal terms. Yeah, I said this earlier. This is great, but we still need to agree with Brentford, and that's the big sticky point right now. But I can see it happening by the weekend. I think we need a DM still. Well, there you go. That's so, because that is his position. He is defensive midfielder and midfielder. No kudu talk at the moment. Nothing happening with that. I hate this talk about Raya coming in. He is a good goalkeeper, but the complete disrespect Ramsdale has got since this is rubbish. He was top 4 goalkeepers in the league last season. I don't think we need to worry too much about Ramsdale losing his position straight away. But I feel that it's very good competition. It's an upgrade on Turner, and that's how we've got to look at it. Now, you know that I sold Turner in my fantasy window because I don't feel he's good enough. So to get someone of Raya's quality coming in as a backup or number 2, however you want to say it, I think it's quite good. How much we're going to pay for Raya? Well, this is the thing. That hasn't been concluded yet. We can agree personal terms, but we haven't actually agreed a fee with Brentford. I expect it to be around 25 million. That's what I expect. They wanted 40. I think we can get it between 25 to 30, if I'm honest. That's what I reckon. Tony agreeing with James. Raya was not far behind Ramsdale. It's called competitive competition, says Carl. Yeah, I don't agree with the trash talk about Ramsdale. That bit I will say. I have zero issue with Raya coming in, but what I do disagree with is about how the certain fans have gone attacking Ramsdale, saying he's bad in this game, bad in that game. So yeah, it's mad. I'm not against the signing. I'm against the I'm with you, James, on that one. I'm against the narrative as well. No, this won't. No, this will be quite quick. You'll be quite surprised how quick this one happens. Like I said, it's going to interlink with all the goalkeeper dominoes that's happening at the moment all over Europe. It's crazy how many goalkeeping signings there will be. Celtic, De Gea hasn't chosen his club. There's just so many dominoes in Europe at the moment. Goalkeepers, you just need one to drop and they'll all start dropping. It's crazy, honestly. I expect this to be quite quick. Spuds offered 25 million allegedly. I think that wasn't that before they signed the Italian guy, whatever his name is, whatever his name was. I have no idea, to be fair. So yeah, that's why I think it's going to be between 25 to 30. I can't see it being any lower than 25, if I'm honest. But we'll wait and see. Right, let's move on to talking about Josip Sotalo. He has still being monitored by Arsenal. This would be a deal around 20 to 25 million. 23-year-old Croatian centre-back from Dynamo Zagreb. Very good player. all the talk is about Gvardiol. But after Gvardiol in Croatia is this guy. Absolute brilliant. It does. I do question whether or not Trusty goes, Holding goes, Satalo comes in. That's what I think might happen here. Obviously, if Trusty's going, if we can find someone to buy Holding, then I feel that Satalo will be the one that comes in. That's what I think. That's how I think this is going to work. So I like this guy. I think he's very good. Very strong in the tackle. Very good ball playing centre back. Very fast as well. I like him. I like him a lot. So if you do get to go and see, if you like, watch some clips of him, honestly, he's very, very good. Let's move on to the next storyline. Is Ben Cottrell has signed and left Arsenal permanently and signed for the Slovenian side FC Mura. Big up to Ben. It never worked out for him, unfortunately. He got some nasty injuries which affected his playing time, affected his confidence as well, I think, if I'm honest. 21, he was talked about as being a very hot prospect at Arsenal. But yeah, it's over now for Ben. Ben now can move to his new club. He's been pictured in his new shirt for his new club. So big up to him. And I hope that he does really well. I don't think I'm going to get to see much of him, if I'm honest. I don't really follow the Slovenian league. I think this Slovenian team are actually in Europa. I don't know if they're going to go through, but we might see him. You never know. Cole saying here, Ramsdale did make mistakes last year. It had nothing to do with his shot stopping. It was more his play out the back, which looked a tiny bit suspect. It's called constructive criticism, says Cole. Bobby, why are we being linked with centre-backs? Still, I'm a bit worried about Gabriel. I don't think we should be too worried about Gabriel. And I know that's not a very confident answer, only because I know that there is a club that could potentially offer him or offer Arsenal a big amount of money. But Satalo is not the Gabriel replacement. Satalo, for me, is coming in to allow Kivior more options at different positions, so he can play left back if needed, maybe drop into DM sometimes as well. So Satalo is not the Gabriel replacement. If we were starting to be linked with Laporte, or if we were being linked with Mark Gay, someone like that, then I think, okay, the bid's coming in. There could be a bid. There's been talk of bids for Gabriel. It's mainly one club, but there's obviously talk of another club as well being interested in him. So this is one to keep an eye out for on the Gabriel situation. But I hope that he stays. Tony says here, Gabriel scares me, need a solid replacement. Yeah, I said it. And that's Tony's opinion. Gabriel is massively underrated, says Holdini Guna Legend. I actually love your name. I like Gabriel. He does have a little bit of a temper. He does get a little bit aggressive in the tackle, which worries me a little bit. So I'm kind of with Tony on that bit, like the scared me part. But yeah, Satalo is a very good centre back, and if he was to come in, I think he'd surprise a lot of people, a bit like Kivior has done now. Yes, he didn't have a great start, but he's definitely impressed a lot of people. Now let's move on to positive news for the Arsenal ladies. Kim Little is back in training. Yes, the Scottish midfielder obviously had a horrendous injury last season, is back in training, so good to see Kim Little, and I can't wait to see her next season playing for the Arsenal. Right, let's move on to a couple of friendlies that haven't been talked about that much, because trust me, I couldn't even find them on the Arsenal website, so I had to do some digging. Right, so the first one was we played Boreham Wood on Saturday. We lost 2-1. It was the Arsenal 11. Now, the team that started against the National League team here was 17-year-old goalkeeper Cooper. Then we had Sweet Waters, Monloy, Sousa, Ibrahim, Nwaneri, Henry Francis, Sago Jr., Butler, Oedeji, and Flores. So the oldest player there was 20, the youngest player was 17. This is up against a National League team. And trust me, I watch a lot of National League football. This would not have been easy. Boreham Wood were quite comfortable winners. They did win 2-1. I'll have to tell you who the scorer was here. Let me just give me 2 seconds, see if I can find a goal scorer. Should be on here somewhere. Jack Henry Francis scored the goal after first half goals by Apayaya and Sagaf for Boreham Wood. But, you know, they held their own. They held their own. I feel, you know, it's not a bad result, if I'm honest. Tony, Phil, yes, we'll get into the Arsenal ladies shortly, I promise. That has not been the last chat about the Arsenal ladies. Aldina Goon Legend, what a name. You are my favourite, says Tony. I had a feeling he might be. Let's move on to the next story. Yeah. And Tony, spot on. They don't do friendlies. They are a very good partner with us, obviously, because the Arsenal ladies play there as well. But yeah, they don't do friendlies at all. Someone's got to rep Rob Holding till the very end. Oh, I love him. Right, let's move on to the next one. This was another game that I believe was played today. Chelmsford City against Arsenal under 21s. Arsenal under 21s come out winners on this one. This was in goal was Rosiak, Foran, Jeffcott, Sousa, Lewis Skelly, Ulad, Mahand, Gower, Kozia Dubry, Edwards, and Kamara. So the youngest players was 16, the oldest player was 19. The Chelmsford City, just for people that are unaware, is a North National League South team. So it's one league below the National League. So it's still very good quality. They are semi-pros, but trust me, they would have been going hard in the tackle. The goals came from Kayan Edwards and Flores, both from penalties, and it was a game of 3 penalties. So that just tells you exactly how that game went, that it was all penalties. So yeah, Bob Holdini is king, says Tony. Kivior, Timber, White, Tommy can all play centre back. Yes, they can, but Arteta wants 2 players per position. 2 players per position. He's always wanted that. I've always said that as well about him. He wants 2 players per position that are of the quality where there is no drop off from one to the other. That is his dream. So I think Satalo would be brilliant signing personally, but there we go. Just barg over Welsh and Moss on FTSN here. Oh, okay, you're on the FTSN. Sorry, Moss. Yes, a lot of people, different channels, different chat boxes. I do apologise. Right, let's move on to the final news story, which is the update on the Gooners Down Under. Right, so we're going to start with the Australian Gooners. So we got Catley and Ford. They have played 3 games. They have won, beaten Norway, lost to Nigeria, and beat Canada. They are through to the next round. Let's move on to the Canadians. D'Angelo didn't play a game for Canada. Lacasse didn't play much. She played 2 halves and half an hour. And Canada were knocked out. Sorry, we have to have a drink. And then we've got the Danish in Kuhl, and she played all 3 games, and they are through to the next round. And you got Russo, who scored today in the 6-1 win against China. She has played all 3 games. Wuben Moy has not played a game for England. Then we'll move on to the Netherlands with Palova. She has played all 3 games. They are through to the next round as well. You got Marnham. She has played all 3 games for Norway. They are through to the next round. Then we got McCabe. Unfortunately, she got knocked out, but she has played all 3 games. Had a brilliant tournament for Republic of Ireland, have to be honest. We'll move on to Switzerland before we move on to Sweden. So Switzerland are through to the next round. Moritz and Walty for them. They've all played all the games again. Regarding Sweden, they have got a game tomorrow, which is their final one. They currently are leading their group. They will be going through to the next round. To be honest, they should be going through round as group winners as well, because they're miles ahead on goal difference. Blackstenius has played both games so far. Hertig has only played 2 minutes. And Ilstedt has got 3 goals in 2 games. And she's a centre-back, and she's our new centre-back. So absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Right, let's just move up a little bit here. Good stuff. Chris Welch says, Mars, what do you think about the rare links? I think it will unlock Neuer level in Ramsdale, says Holdini. Guna Legends. This will happen. This will happen. I'm 95% sure this will happen. I'm pretty sure it could be done by this weekend, if I'm honest. I think it'll be quite a fast-moving process now. This is what happens with August. August doesn't drag on. It's quite quick, so I can see this happening. Chelsea have just signed a player on a 7-year contract, year option. I thought this couldn't be done anymore. Trust me, Chelsea find ways and loopholes to do anything they want. It's just Chelsea, unfortunately. There are loopholes that you can find. It's really annoying. Bobby Russo. I know. Honestly, I can't wait to see her in an Arsenal shirt next season. Right, let's move on to the poll that was done on the Armoury Twitter. The question was, could David Raya push Aaron Ramsdale out of the starting 11? There was 126 votes. The winner was a yes with 72.2% of the votes. Now, let's get into this poll that's on the Armoury. Let's just have a look, see what the results were. So out of 32 votes, so thank you very much for voting. There has been 9% on none, 15% on 1, and 21% on 3+ signings, and the winner is 2 signings for Arsenal. So, look, it could happen. I believe that there probably will be 3. But yes, this week, thank you ever so much for all joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I will be back with Arsenal news on Friday for definite. Tomorrow, I will be back on FTSN, the Armoury, Across the Pond Sports Talk for the Emirates Cup, the game against Monaco. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk a little bit about it tomorrow. And then I'll be back at the weekend for the Community Shield on Sunday as well. So, yes, there's plenty coming on the Armoury still. Thank you ever so much. And please, yes, what Tony says, please hit the likes, guys and gals. Really appreciate it. Raya short pass isn't as good as Ramsdale. He panics under pressure as well, but good dead overall. Yeah, it's very close between the two, to be honest. I have to be honest. Great show, Bobby. Thank you ever so much, Tony. Russo, great job today. Cheers, guys. Thank you ever so much, everyone. I will definitely see you all very, very soon. Take care and bye-bye.